Estou muito feliz, vou ter o privilégio de entrevistar o Dr. Denis Mukwege, Prémio Nobel da Paz 2018, ginecologista congolês que tem dedicado os últimos 20 anos da sua vida a salvar mulheres vítimas de violência sexual que são utilizadas enquanto armas de guerra. Já salvou cerca de 40 mil no seu país. A guerra civil na República Democrática do Congo é motivada por interesses económicos e parte da estratégia passa pela violação das mulheres e pela destruição dos seus órgãos genitais. A City of Joy é um centro criado pelo Dr. Mukwege, onde cerca de 180 mulheres recebem por ano formação. E ali elas transformam a dor em força, o sofrimento em poder. Ali, de vítimas, elas renascem líderes. É um trabalho absolutamente extraordinário e muito comovente. Para o Dr. Mukwege, a justiça não é negociável e diz respeito a todos e todas nós. Good morning, Dr. Mukwege. And thank you very much for this privilege. I'm UNFPA Goodwill Ambassador for over 19 years and founder of an NGO called Corações com Coroa, Hearts with a Crown, that we deal with gender equality, social inclusion, with non-violence and non-discrimination based policy. So thank you very much, you are truly an inspiration. You have an holistic approach on the way you heal with women that have been victims of violence. What exactly you do? What is your approach? Your methods?
Yeah, at Panzi Hospital we are receiving each year around 1,500 to 2,000 women who we raped in a really very bad way. You can say rape with extreme violence. Mm-hmm. And most of them are really so traumatized. And when they come to the hospital, most of the time is to get a medical treatment against infections or to get the surgery when they are wounded on the genital. Mm-hmm. But our experience, we saw that to treat them medically was not enough. So we treated him medically, and after a few years, we discovered that women were really so wounded psychologically. And with the trauma. So we added mental health. So we have psychologists and social assistants, social psychologists mm-hmm. who are supporting women for the psychological healing.
To give them strength.
Exactly. So this is our second pillar. Mm-hmm. The third pillar is the socio-economical support. Because after to get the physical healing, to be enough strong psychologically, mm-hmm. they still need really to
independence, money.
Exactly, to go back in the community and to be autonomous. So we have a program to support women so they can restart the new life.
The business, their own business, yeah.
Yes, agriculture or small businesses and things like that. So the last pillar is legal support. Because most of...
To punish the people who hurt them?
Not only to punish, but we believe that to fight against impunity mm-hmm. is a way also to prevent the repetition, is one sense. But also, we must really preserve the social contract, and women must be respected in the society.
Of course.
So if someone don't respect them and the society asks us to respect them, we have laws. These laws must be enforced, and we need really justice. And justice is also a way for women to get it's a process of healing. So we have the medical support, psychological support, socio-economical support.
So they feel they are not alone.
Exactly. And to restore their dignity. So we need really justice at the end of the process.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Sometimes you are the only person in whom these women can trust, and probably they never told the story about their lives. And sometimes you are the only person. You heard thousands of stories. Can you tell me one of the most impressive ones? that don't allow you to stop doing what you do?
I think that I have many stories of women, and really I can say that the one story is really touching me a lot. It's not about one woman, it's about many women.
Together.
Uh-huh. And most of them were raped, and I treat them as pansy. And when I was attacked,
in your house,
in my house,
your family.
So I leave Congo, and I was in Boston. And for me, it was just I took a decision to leave Congo because it was not acceptable that helping
At
people,
risk. Yeah.
It was a big risk for my family. So women took a decision that we want our daughter back. And really what the women did, I think that is a story. Every time I'm saying I have a responsibility because they took responsibility on me. So they wrote to the president of Congo, Mr. Kabila. They wrote to the Secretary General of the UN to ask them to bring me back. But it didn't happen. So they decided that they will start to sell fruit and vegetables to get money. So
to pay the tickets that you fly.
Each Friday, they're coming with $50 to the hospital to pay my ticket. And they don't have even $1 per day for themselves. So I think that this is a story that I can say.
The lesson is incredible. It's a lesson. It's a lesson.
So touching for me. And for me, I think that I am doing just what I can do, but it's very small if I compare what they're doing for me and for all the community. You know, at this moment, they decide also that they will just get 25 women each night to be around my house, so no one would attack me before.
So beautiful, my God.
I think that this is where the way that women are acting, and I think that for me, with this kind of story, I can't leave them. We need really to be together, to join our forces to fight against sexual violence.
Sometimes we say many times that women, they have such a strength. They're really strong people. After all that they went through, it's amazing how can really, after recovering the dignity, how can they be so strong?
Yeah, exactly. I think when you can see women coming at the hospital, you can't believe that they will wake up and stand on their own feet. But most of them, after to go through this process of healing, the 4 pillars.
The 4 pillars, yeah.
We are using, you can see that they are not only fighting for themselves, they are fighting for their children, they are fighting for families and community.
They're reborn, isn't it? They're reborn.
Just to born again. And this is really wonderful to see how women can become agents of a change in their own community after to go through terrible things, but they're still keeping hope and go on doing good things. And I think that it's just wonderful. And I'm so impressed.
It is. You've been talking about this all the time and working with your hands. I mean, you are not just a voice, you are a worker. But how can you really show the world that each one of those women really counts? And that if we save a woman, we are saving her family, her community.
We are saving humanity.
Our country.
Exactly.
But sometimes people say, they didn't go to the school, they don't know how to teach, they don't count to the statistics. How can you really how can we convince people that each one of them counts?
I used to say that when you destroy a woman, you are destroying our present. So you are destroying life. But when you destroy a girl, you are destroying the future. And I think that women count a lot, because when really you empower women, you are not only empowering individuals, but you are supporting the next generation. And I have seen that for many women, when they become strong, their children will go to school, they will take care of their children to get good food and so on. So I
medical assistance as well. Yeah, they go access the health
I think
centers.
that when you support a woman, you are supporting the future. You are supporting the next generation.
Probably the strategic is to talk about economic. Yeah? Because if we talk about money, if you do the match between empowerment women and recover the economy, probably that's the answer. Yeah, sometimes we have to
In many cases, you know, women are excluded and they don't have really opportunities, economic opportunities. But you can see that in the model that we are using, when you give women possibility to access to the opportunities, you can see that
they grab them. They grab the opportunity, yes.
And also the economy of the entire community is just growing. Why? Because women are most thinking about others.
About the family.
About the family. Not only
about themselves. Yeah. You are a believer. And considering the many lives that you saved already, do you believe in miracles?
There are many things that I can't understand myself. I can get questioned, maybe it's what we can call miracles. But there are many things that we can see happen, and we ask yourself, how this happened? You try to be rational, but there is any rationality in what happened. So I can call it miracle.
But sometimes you found women in such a bad situation.
Exactly.
Because it's not only rape that we're talking about. We are talking about women that are war weapons, and they are very, very in a bad situation. And they recover.
They are not only rape, but with extreme violence.
Sexual violence.
As I've seen things that really you can't imagine that a human can do this kind of things on another human. But I think that when all these women can recover, some kind of
miracle.
It's a miracle what happened. And you can't explain really how it happened, but I think that women they have a strength inside them that I don't
and
know. It's just a miracle happening like palsy.
That's why it's so important the psychological recovery. Sometimes you're afraid of your life.
This is a human being. If you can't be afraid, so
you're not alive if you're not afraid a little bit at least.
But I think that to be afraid is different of to give up, and I can be afraid. I have to be more careful in what I'm doing, but I can't give up, and this is a big difference.
How do you think that gender equality should be approached in developing countries?
Yeah, I think when I'm talking about gender equality, I'm just taking some example where really countries where gender equality is
it's not important. It's not in a priority.
It's a priority. You can see that in all this country, really the country as a whole is doing very well. So we don't need really to recreate something. We have just to follow the examples that already exist. And I can say that in many countries where women have the same opportunities as men, the country as a whole is doing well. So why in the developing country we can't use the same model to give women also opportunity and see what can happen? I'm sure that in many countries the big question is we are using women to work very hard, they are producing, but at the end when it comes to repartition of all the product, the product, women are not there. And how you can go on working very hard if you can't be when they are sharing. When it comes to share the product, it's men who are on the table of sharing. And I think that this is very negative. We need really to give women opportunities, but also they have to be there to give their opinion to listen to them and they can give their vision. And I think that in many countries where really they are trying to push on equality, gender equality, you can see that they are improving or at many things in their country.
But are you optimistic about that? Optimistic?
Sure.
Good. I like this answer. And do you think that the true investment in issues like maternal and sexual and reproductive health be the most effective tool against poverty?
I think I can maybe, as I used to say, you need to improve the quality of life of the population, of women. And it belongs to women to choose and take decision when
it's family planning.
Yes, exactly. You can't start with a planning, family planning. It's for me, it's not the way. You have to prove the quality of life, and when the quality of life of women improve, they will choose what they want to do and do maybe the family planning. You understand what I mean?
Yes, I
but
understand.
sometimes we are trying to push on family planning that it can't fight against poverty. We need to fight against poverty, and when really we succeed, women will decide what kind
so it's the other way around.
Exactly.
Okay. So first we take care of the poverty.
Exactly.
And then they will have the tools to change.
If they have the knowledge.
Yes.
If they are not fighting to get food, to get
every day
for their children to go to school, then they can start to think how they can improve the life of their children. Exactly, and I think that when they don't have knowledge, even if you talk about planning families, they will never understand.
But in the other way, the centers, the health centers must be with all the services about sexual and reproductive health.
I think that all what we need to do the planning family must be in the health centers and give women the chance to choose what they want.
And the knowledge there.
Exactly.
The information.
We need to give them information. We need to give them opportunities to fight against poverty. And then I'm sure that they will choose. I have experience in my hospital. We have we have all we have our planning family with everything. But what I can see is most nurses, teachers, doctors, the ones who are well educated, who are not in poverty,
they have less children.
Yes, who have less children and who are using the planning family.
Of course.
You understand?
I understand.
And
it's connected. Everything is connected.
The really poor women in the society, they just have impression that okay, to get children, maybe it's only the one chance that I have. It's only the one hope that I have.
And sometimes they die. So they count the death. They don't count the number of children.
So I think that to inform them, to give them information, knowledge, fight against poverty, they will choose this to use planning family automatically.
I think this is a government will, if they want. I'm talking not only in Congo, I mean in the world, developing countries. If they will, if they want, this can change.
If the leaders want.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because we need projects that invest in these issues, isn't it? And sometimes they are in the end of the line of the priorities.
Yeah, this is very bad because I think that really don't give women the possibility to get the planning family and choose for their reproductive health care. I think that it's a wrong thing to do. We need really to get it ready when they need it, so it can't be a barrier to make the planning family. So really, I think that the government who can stop this is terrible. You know, I was in the UN just last month, And this was so touching to see that some governments don't want to talk about reproductive health. And how
and don't talk about reproductive health, about even reference about abortion. You know, this is something that we have to deal with that.
Yes, I think
it's a conservative way of thinking and coming back again.
I think that it's really to pull back, and this is not acceptable. We need really to give women the freedom to choose what they want to do with their body. It's not, we don't need a resolution for women to do what they have to do with their own body. And I think that the reproductive care should be really freely and be given to all women who need really to make a planning family.
But we have to fight against the conservative thinking of that. It's something that we have to prove with examples, probably. It's the only way.
Yeah, and it's not sometimes when I'm just joking, I'm saying the people who are telling us that they don't want the reproductive health care, most of them have only 2 children.
Yes.
So how can they explain us what they are doing? So I think that really this is needed to get. And
it's urgent.
Yes, it's urgent, especially when we are talking about conflict areas where really women are raped and be pregnant. We can't let them to do
even
that.
In refugees camp.
Yeah,
refugees camp.
Exactly. It's the same. Where women are not in security, when it happens that they are raped, can we let them to be pregnant for someone they don't know, who will not take responsibility of the
cannot.
So I think that we have really possibility to stop this without getting children that will not going to take care of them after.
And how hard is to struggle against sexual violence when you know, and also like adolescent pregnancy, child marriage, FGM. When sometimes the cultural reasons are the arguments that everyone uses.
No, I think that this is really the question of equality of gender. When women are not respected in the culture, when women are not...
Human rights are violated.
Exactly. We can use just culture and social norms.
It's not an argument for you.
It's not at all an argument to make mutilations or marriage.
FGM is...
Yes, exactly. This is not an argument. I think that it's just a way to treat women not as a human, but as just people from the second row, and this is not acceptable.
It's a way of saying we don't care about that because this cultural thing. Is it something that okay? Is it wrong?
We can't say.
We can say.
We can't say that is a cultural thing. We need really to get also the point of view of women. They have to decide about their own body and what they want to do with their body. And I can't really believe that the culture can authorize us to get girls of 12, 14 years to be married. They don't know what they're doing. And I think
I met a lot of them. It's incredible.
We need to get laws who can protect girls and women in this case. We can't say that is a culture or social norms.
Do you feel that young people in general, they know their rights? They are aware of their rights? Young people?
We need to give them more information. I can see in many countries, when you talk about the rights, most of them, even if these rights are well known, they have laws and so on, but they don't know about it. So, for example, at Panzi, we are really teaching women who are coming at Panzi to know exactly
their rights.
And so they can defend it. Because if you don't know your right, you can talk about it.
Do you claim that justice is our responsibility or everyone's responsibility? How can you convince the world of that?
Yeah, for me, justice really, everyone should fight for justice. Everyone should think that what I would like the world to do for me, I have to do it for others. And I have to respect the right of others, so my right can be respected by others. And when you can just think that you can get your right, but not for others, this is really a wrong way to think, because someone else can think also that he can take your right. But I think we need to teach that the justice must be really, everyone have to fight for justice. So if everyone is fighting for justice, it's a matter of everyone. So my right will be respected, and I will respect also the right of others. And for me, this is clear. I can see for women coming at my hospital. Our law is clear about rape. It's clear about it. But what is happening? All the rapists are free. And if they are free, so they have impression that to do these bad things have any consequences on them.
There's no impunity.
The impunity total. And this is really very, very bad things, because the some who is raping will just go on doing the bad things because you know that he can do it without any consequences. So impunity is very bad. So justice should be the matter of everyone. Everyone should fight for justice, not only for his own justice, but also for the justice of others.
After the City of Joy documentary released, did you feel changing about the things in your country? Any changes?
No,
I mean, they were aware of the situation.
There is
about the
awareness on
yes.
Yes, on what is happening in my country, but the change is not really there. And why this change is not there? It's only because the impunity is still there, and we don't have really a government who is fighting against impunity. And as maybe I said in my speech last time when I got the Nobel Prize, is that the big problem is that even the international community, the international law and the humanitarian law are not really doing things in the right way. You know that in 2010, the High Commissioner of Human Rights, she did a report on what happened in Congo in 1993 to 2003. And in this report you can find 617 crimes against humanity, war crimes, and even crime of genocide. And no one really take action. There is recommendations in this report, but the international community didn't care about all these recommendations. And if you can just get 617 crimes against humanity, and you let it without any justice, so it's a way to say you can go on raping, destroying, and killing. So really the change in my country must start there, to fight against impunity, and really to promote the rule of law. And without this promotion of the rule of law, I think that it will be very difficult
to fight against. So you can tell that every day in your country there's still a lot of rapes and violence against women.
I'm so sorry to say it, because at the hospital I'm receiving, even the last month when I was there, it's around 6 to 10 victims each day at the hospital. And this is not acceptable. It's enormous, and we can't go on in this way. And I think that the only one way to fight against this kind of things is justice, because the justice is really the way to fight against the repetition.
Do you follow UNFPA work?
Sure.
Yes. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I think that what UNFPA is doing is really very supportive, because, for example, for the reproductive health care, we need really the action of UNFPA in the remote area where really women don't have any possibility to access to the treatment. But UNFPA is working in this remote area. They are working also with fistula.
Fistula,
and you know,
yes.
Fistula is a big problem where women don't have obstetric care of quality.
And they are abandoned. I mean, they stay there in the house,
Exactly.
smelling, and it's horrible.
And there are things that
They don't have any
really
dignity.
to give obstetric care of quality. This is one thing of UNFPA is doing to train, for example, nurses and so on. And I think that this is very important to treat fistula, where women have fistula. They are so young, they are smelling, everyone is just rejecting them, and it's a terrible thing. But I think...
And it's quite simple. The surgery is quite simple, no?
The surgery can be done in really...
It's a question of will.
It's a question of will. And I think that UNFPA is working on this question, and I'm so grateful for this.
Thank you. What about Portugal? You want to stay with us?
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.